Hey guys. I've been getting a lot of emails lately about money. And I've also been noticing one thing in particular lately. Now, when it comes to your mindset about money and manifesting money, and when I say manifesting money, I don't mean finding it sitting in a bag on your doorstep or buying a lottery ticket and winning the lottery. I just mean manifesting, as in making real in your reality the experience of having a lot of money, whatever way that comes to you, whatever way you get that money into your existence and into your bank accounts available to you to actually use is manifesting money. And what I've noticed lately, especially, I've been kind of tuned into this, probably because people have been emailing me about it lately and talking about it so much. I don't know. It's in my awareness for some reason right now. The one thing that I've noticed lately is that there is a big block for people, and sometimes your block is nearly invisible to you. It's just in front of you. You're seeing everything through it, and you don't even realize that it's there. I've noticed this with people I've heard talking about this lately. And that is, let me come at this from a different direction. If you can't say with a straight face and with zero tension in your body, there's nothing wrong with me having a lot of money, then you've got some work to do in that area, and that could be the reason why it's more difficult than it needs to be for you to manifest this reality that for you includes a lot of money. There is a lot of shit going on in the world right now. There are a lot of people talking about wealth inequality. There's a lot of judgment placed on a lot of different things having to do with money. And we are in a day and age where more than ever, you can easily be exposed to that. And we're in a time where there's a lot of polarization between different groups of people, and there's, a lot of discussion with extra judgment on top of it. And you've probably been exposed to some of that. Now, I'm not saying at all that if you in any way think that there is something wrong with you having a lot of money, that you cannot still create a bunch of wealth for yourself, because I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who have done just that. But if you're having trouble, this is the thing. This is one of the confusing points about manifesting and what everybody's talking about manifesting. What people are able to manifest with blocks is irrelevant to you if you are struggling to manifest something, because this is still a largely not understood process. And why people can do certain things with certain blocks, we don't know. If you're deliberately trying to manifest something and you're having problems manifesting it, that's when the exploration of blocks and all that shit becomes really relevant, in my opinion. And so if you are not in the financial position you'd like to be in, if you're not comfortable financially, or you don't have the kind of accumulated wealth that you think would bring you security, say the statement out loud or whatever, there's nothing wrong with me having a lot of money, and see if you feel that that's true. Pay attention to how you feel from here to your belly button. How does that feel? Do you feel tense? All I can tell you is this. For me personally, getting to a point where I had plenty of cash and all of that, I really, when I think about my mindset during the time that was all happening, I have never in my life ever felt like there was anything wrong with me having a lot of money. I just don't, in my gut, in my body, I don't feel that there's anything wrong with that. I've never felt any guilt about having more than other people. I've never felt like money changes people. I think that if you turn into a total asshole because you have a lot of money, that you were always an asshole to begin with, probably. I don't think that things like that necessarily change somebody. They can bring out negative qualities that people already have, but if you're a good person, you getting a bunch of money isn't going to turn you into an asshole, probably. I've just never felt like there was anything wrong with it. There's never been anything stopping me from money coming in. Now, the way that I have gotten money, the speed with which I have accumulated wealth is almost certainly slower than it needed to be. And to me, this part is really seems really obvious to me because I was the one experiencing it. You know, I have gotten money at the exact speed that I was comfortable with it, and in the ways that I was comfortable with it. Considering getting a windfall at any point in the last 15 years, as everything was growing and all of that, to me, that the idea of a windfall is not it. At this point, I've kind of gotten past the point where the accumulation of more wealth is really exciting or fun. So at this point, having a stock double or something, or having crypto go through the roof, and just being done with the whole money thing, I'm cool with that. But over the last 15 years, as this has played out, as it's manifested itself in my reality, it's come basically at the exact speed that I would want it to. It didn't come too fast for me to be able to enjoy it the way I wanted to. It didn't come slower than it needed to. My explanation for that is that, I was ready to be in a certain state of mind with money. And so that's what happened. I mean, I've said in a recent video, when it comes to my life in general, I'm not that much happier than I was 20 years ago when I was completely broke, Happiness doesn't generally come from money. A little more security, a little more comfort, maybe. But I mean, even then, if you're a person who's anxious about security, getting some money is probably not going to relieve that for you all that much. You're still going to find a way to be anxious about your security until you resolve whatever that underlying thing is for you, which, for most people is just an existential thing, since we live in an inherently insecure situation in this world. So the one thing that I've noticed lately, and I'm tuned and I've been kind of looking for it, is that hearing people talking about manifesting money, I have noticed that there is often clearly an underlying judgment of having a lot of money. And a lot of times it's very subtle, and I don't think you would pick up on it if you weren't looking for it. So it's probably not even visible to the people that I have seen talking about it. And so that's something to think about. There are a lot of blocks when it comes to money. There are a lot of judgments on money, not just having to do with, am I a bad person if I have it or something? And there's a lot of different judgments that go into that particular part of it, But then there's, I'm not smart enough to have a lot, or I'm not responsible enough to have a lot, or no one I've ever known has, so what are the odds that I will, this belief in scarcity, or thinking of it as a zero-sum game where if you have some, then someone else doesn't have enough, There's a lot of different mentalities that go into not creating money in your life. And, I think people look at this like it's so mystical, and maybe some of it is. I don't know. We don't know how this works yet. My guess is that there's a lot less of this whole manifesting process has to do with God or something divine or something supernatural, and a lot more to just subtle behavior changes that are brought on by what you are thinking about. And think about it. How likely are you going to be to make the types of decisions that lead you to have a lot of money if you have certain beliefs about yourself in relation to money? Like, I'm not responsible enough to have a lot of money. Nobody I know has a lot, so I'm probably not ever going to have that. I mean, if you are walking around you're just a normal, decent person who in every way is kind of like a typical person, you're not necessarily like living in a refrigerator box or something, but you're just somebody who's working a job, paying your bills, and everyone else everyone in your family is the same way. How likely are you going to be to take the actions that would lead you out of that situation into a different one with a lot more money, if that's what you're believing? You might not even see those opportunities or recognize those opportunities as opportunities due to that belief, because your mind's going to be on whatever TV show you're watching tonight, instead of, I know that I can have this better situation, and now I'm thinking about that. And so an opportunity presents itself and I see it as, hey, that's a way out of here. That's a way towards this other thing. I don't think much of this is all that mystical. I mean, we have all experienced these weird, serendipitous, kind of mind-blowing things that happen right in front of us. Or, I mean, it feels magical, I think, because we don't understand it. And it would feel a lot less magical if we did. That is my guess for what the likely eventuality is for this whole manifesting thing. But in the meantime, if you just think about this rationally and logically, even subtle beliefs can be holding you back from getting somewhere. And the big one that I've been noticing lately is sort of a moral judgment, like, talking to family members and stuff recently, I've noticed stuff like this where, you'll be having a conversation with someone where it sounds like they're totally on board with the idea of something better, but then there'll be an aside or a joke, a comment about, just as long as I don't become a rich asshole, or something like that, where I'm just like, that's not for me personally. This is one area of my life, the only area of my life where, like, that comment would never come out of my mouth, because it's just that whole idea of it being bad to be rich just does not exist for me. I don't know why. I don't know why. Whereas in other areas of my life, I have a billion judgments, a billion things influencing my behavior and creating things in my life that I don't like. But so since I have this one area where this is really apparent to me, it's just obvious when somebody else is revealing why they are where they are. I've seen so many of these lately with money. I don't think about money all that much anymore. But lately, this has been coming up. So I wanted to make a video about that specific one. If you do not have the money that you want, and you're not moving towards that, if you're just kind of stuck in one place, if you're moving in the direction of what you want, shut off YouTube, please. Shut it off and just go to the thing. Get there, and then you can come to YouTube and think about it. If you are getting somewhere, fuck what everyone else says for now. Just go get it. But if you're not on the path, if you're treading water, if you're on a hamster wheel, and you're constantly feeling, irritated by this area of your life, there's a good chance some of this is in there. Or at least pays to think, consider it. Is there something about having a lot of money that you feel like is morally wrong? Because your morality and your ideology about, that is one of the biggest things that is driving you. If not the biggest thing. Bigger than getting a reward for something, bigger than trying to avoid pain. What you think things should be like drives you. Your morality drives you, whatever that is, whatever that's made up of. So if you're thinking it's immoral. I'd rather be a part of the good class of people who aren't, part of the wealthy assholes that are taking all of the shit from everyone else. I mean, if you don't have wealth, you want it, and you're thinking that, think about that. How do you get rid of it? You've got to rationally work your way out of it. I've given some, if you listen to my Science of Getting Rich commentary and the audio, there's a section in that ebook where Wallace Wattles addresses some of this stuff, which I found really helpful, and I read it probably at just the right point, and I already didn't really have much of a problem with this anyway, but you need to convince yourself of the opposite if that's the thing that you think is standing in your way. Come up with it, and if you're really that married to the idea that having wealth makes you a bad person, then maybe move on to something else. Maybe decide that you're going to commit to that idea and just kind of be a broke person who struggles for money, but who gets to take comfort in the fact that they are a good, virtuous person. It doesn't really make sense to exist in the purgatory in between those two things. Of course, I think you're going to find that you can't really do the I'm going to commit to a virtuous person who doesn't have money. So just commit to the other one and get the thing. And then you can help people with it. That's all I've got to say about that. I hope that helps somebody have a great day.